Hey, Rifters, welcome to the show. Subscribe, rate, review, tell a friend. Very excited for this guest. He's a Power Ranger, the Red Ranger, and he has a new short out called An Old Friend. Jason Faunt will be here via Zoom. So we're gonna find out what it's like being a Power Ranger, you know? And then we're gonna find out what's it like being an old friend, you know? It's nothing like being an old friend and a Power Ranger. That's the best of both worlds. Anyways, subscribe, rate, review, book me on Cameo, KeithReza.com for shows and all that jazz. And enjoy Reza Rifts with Jason Faunt coming up next.
From Hollywood, California, welcome to Reza Rifts with your host, Keith Reza.
Hey, Jason Faunt, how are you?
I'm good, buddy. Hold on one second here.
All right.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, man. Oh, man. But no, dude, thanks so much. It looks like you're in Orange County. Is that Orange County?
Yeah, look at you. You could tell just by the background, huh?
I don't know if where you live, if you had that power outage, because I had a huge power outage last night. And I don't know if you've ever had a power outage, but it fucking sucks because I was like writing a script and I
Yeah.
forgot to save it. And then the power went off and I was like, fuck, right? So my
Oh my
whole
God.
script is gone, you know?
Oh, that sucks. I
Yeah.
did not know about a power outage last night. Yeah, nothing affected us down here.
Were you back there like a couple years ago where there was a huge where that guy like he slammed into the John Wayne airplane and it shut all the power hours like a few years ago?
Yeah, I remember something like that.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
crazy, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was.
California, baby.
Where are you
Uh,
from originally, Keith?
San Antonio.
Okay, so yeah, you're not. Yeah, I'm from Chicago, so
Oh
uh,
yeah,
yeah, so yeah, you're like me. We're definitely fish out of water out here. It's a little bit different world.
yeah. You know what's weird is about Texas accent is a lot of people think I'm Canadian. Like
Okay.
I guess Canadians sound like Texans or something. I don't know, but
Yeah, yeah.
so sometimes I play that card if I don't want to pay taxes or whatever. I'd be like, But,
I
yeah,
love it, dude. So
yeah.
we're not. Your show doesn't start at 3:30, right? This is pre-recorded.
Yeah, pre-recorded. Yeah, yeah. So we're right. We already started, buddy. We're just jamming right into it.
I love it. I love
It's
it. You're like Joe Rogan. You just get right into it. You don't even know.
yeah, yeah. I mean that's I don't know if that's a compliment comparing me to Joe Rogan or what, but
It's a huge compliment. He's a Texas guy too. You should like that now.
oh yeah, yeah, definitely. He runs Texas. He's like Mr. Because I do stand-up comedy, so he runs all that. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, he's got the mothership. That's pretty
uh,
cool.
yeah, definitely, man.
Yeah.
So we got to talk about an old friend, which is the thing you're promoting right now,
Yes.
and so tell me about it because I saw the trailer. It looks pretty cool. I didn't realize it was a short.
Yeah.
Like how long is a short?
15 minutes.
15 minutes.
Yeah. So they keep it in 15-minute segments. I think that's for the slotting for the festivals. But I don't think there's any play with that. It might be 12 to 15 minutes, but 15 minutes is the short film. I think they lock it in no more than 15 minutes.
Oh, nice,
Yeah.
definitely. So can you share a little what an old friend is about? Because like
Yeah.
your character, you show like that I watch, you show up in this guy's like deathbed or something, and then
Yeah.
you're just
It's
watching him die. Like,
yeah, it's crazy because the background on this is that I had met Ben Andrews, who's one of the producers on it years ago, and they run this screenwriting contest in Seattle for
yeah.
Holly Shorts, and the winner of the screenwriting contest every year gets their short film funded.
Oh, nice.
So that's kind of part of this contest that's been going. Well, an old friend came along, man, 4 or 5 years ago, maybe even before COVID, and it was so good. The head of the screenwriting contest said, "Hey, I want to direct this. Like, this is a very unique project." So they were all excited about it. I believe COVID happened, and then of course everything was on pause. And then they wanted to make it a feature film. Then they decided to keep it short. So it took a few years to get the ball rolling.
Yeah.
Finally, they did it. Maybe it was last year now. The directors and producers always help me with the dates on there. But essentially, what it is, it's a story of an imaginary friend that gets assigned to a kid. He doesn't
Yeah.
know why. He doesn't know why he's getting assigned. He doesn't know who he is. But all he knows is he's here to be an imaginary friend to a child. And he's there with all these other imaginary friends. There are all these different animals and spaceships and all these different fun things. And he's like, great. I don't know who I am or why I'm here, but I'm here to be a friend to a little boy or girl. So he goes through the portal and he arrives at this hospital where a 90-year-old man is on his deathbed suffering from dementia. And he is confused. Like, I'm seeing these other guys playing with kids, having fun, and I'm here with this old man who's about to die. And it's his journey of finding out why he's there, and then the relationship he ultimately creates with this old man. There's things that happen at the end, so that's as much as I can kind of tell you.
Right,
That
right.
that really throws you off, but it's a real story about how we age, the journey we take, whether you're the person who's aging or the caretakers of the family, and kind of keeping those dreams alive of kind of those later years in your life. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds so fascinating.
But
I
the
mean,
ending is is pretty shocking. So when I read the script, then you go like, "Oh my God, I didn't see this coming," and I think that's why this film has had such. I mean, it's won over 50 festivals internationally. So
yeah.
we've just been doing amazing.
They said that was in the Newport Beach one, and that's a big festival because
Yeah,
we're around that corner, you know.
yeah, that's right. That's right.
Um, but no, that's so fascinating on something like this because like I don't know if maybe like you just put more light to it since you've already filmed it or whatever. But are you kind of scared of aging now? You know?
I will say what I can say is that I had a personal connection to this script because I just watched my father pass away 2 years ago in September
Yeah.
of prostate cancer. And that process, which I hadn't really experienced, was having gone through it, being the closest, his son being right here, was brutal. And it was a real eye opener on what happens when this happens to people as we get older. And then this script came along right after my father passed, which was just one of those full circle moments. Um, so I think, yeah, after seeing that, yeah, it's not a pleasant thing to see. And those of us that have gone through it, this movie really speaks to them.
Yeah.
Um, I will say, what I can say is that personally for me, I think there's something special about when we lose somebody, is the people alive, and this correlates with the film in ways that I can just kind of suggest. There's always this bit when you have a father or mother pass away, to have one last moment with them. That now that they're gone, you end up going, and I've heard this universally, I've seen this in other movies. If I could just have one more catch with dad, or one more trip to the ballpark, or fishing, whatever it is you did with your parents, you always long for that one last moment. If you could do it one more time now that you know they're gone. And I think this movie really plays upon those themes that we go through naturally when we lose the loss of a parent that we're close to. Yeah.
No, definitely. I feel like also like maybe this is just like a messed up joke in life, but like when you're a child, you don't realize how effective death really is until you hit it with someone in your family. And
Yeah.
like you think about all that, but like if I could go back to my childhood, I would spend so much time more time with my grandfather or my best friend who I just lost a few years ago.
Uh,
You know what I mean? So like I would do that, but you don't think about that in the moment. You know what I mean?
yeah. Yeah. You're fearless. You're a superhero, right? You got more time. You're not expecting these things to happen. So the film plays upon that kind of theme.
Yeah.
And because of it, I think it connects with a lot of people, and does it in a certain way you don't see something coming. And and again, that was the point of it, is to really, and the writer Dan Martin, he had originally started watching his grandmother, who was very close to, go through dementia, and kind of that journey later on. And this is kind of a fictional way to kind of combine that journey respectfully with an imaginary scenario that creates some light on the aging process.
Yeah. How many days can you say that you were filming it? Because you said it's a short, so you said it's about 15 minutes. How many days were you like on set filming it?
I think we did it in 2 or 3 days.
Whoa.
Yeah, we filmed it in Seattle, 2 or 3 days. myself and Tom Skerritt, and of course Tom has had a very amazing, career in Hollywood. He's 93 now, and so he's had a lot of great journeys on there. So myself and Tom Skerritt starred in it, and yeah, Nuke Swancia directed it. Nuke's got a ton of great work behind him. Chris Flink, Ben Andrews, and Vitaly Peronov were the producers, and they just
Yeah.
fell in love with it, put it together, and we just did it in a couple 3 days. Yeah.
Oh my God. I wanna do more shorts. That sounds way better than actual movies.
Well,
Like,
you know what? And now that you're telling me that you're a writer, I didn't do a lot of shorts because you always thought, well, shorts are for beginners, and that was kind of my mindset until I met these guys, and then I realized they have a huge body of work behind them. But the cool thing about shorts is you can really, the budgets are smaller, but you can really have your message for whatever you want it to be. Like these guys wanted to focus on this, but because it's a short film, it allows you to go and get a chance to get yourself out there because it's hard to compete against an Oppenheimer, you know.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
But in the short space, there it's a little less competitive. So I think guys like these directors can really make a name for themselves.
I did this movie and like I signed on for 6 weeks. I'm only in one scene of the whole movie. And I couldn't like do anything because I had to stay in case they were going to say, "Oh, we might film your scene today." It was the worst 6 weeks of my fucking life. So like I'm just like I don't know if I want to do acting like, but now you're saying shorts. It's like 2 days. It's like I could give up 2 days. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. And you can direct your own stuff. You can write your own stuff. It's not as a, it's an easier process to do it, and in the short film space, it's a lot less competitive. So it's I think you can really get your stuff out there a lot easier.
yeah, when I taught screenwriting, one thing I used to tell my students is write a 3-minute movie and film it on your iPhone.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
you
You can
know,
do that now. Yeah, you can totally do that now with the way it is. But yeah, we're excited. I mean, this thing has gotten. I think the success of it. I don't think it shocked us, but like the pacing of the success happened fast.
yeah.
And I had said to the directors, to Nuke, who's the director, he's like, "Oh, by the way, you won. You just won Best Actor for Staten Island Film Festival, and then you just won this one." I go, "Hey, man, you got to tell me that I won these things." He's like, "Well,
Uh,
it's happening so fast, we can't keep up." You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool that you won Best Actor because now it's like saying, hey, if they want to make this, because a lot of times they do shorts and then they make it a feature. I mean, like look at Saw. That started as a short. You know
Did
what
it
I mean?
really? Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, and now it's like a huge franchise. So an old friend could be a huge franchise.
Yeah. It's funny the way that it's done. They're not trying to make it a feature. I
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just the way that it's done is so well done. It wraps it up. But these guys, like I said, Nuke and his brothers are they just been film connoisseurs since they were young, so they've got a ton of other ideas. But this is going to get them a nice access to a lot of good meetings for sure.
Oh, and you're in their contacts. So when their next thing happens, they'll be like, "We want Jason." Yeah,
Well,
right.
they better Nuke, you better Nuke. But yeah, I mean that it is we want success for everybody. The writer Dan, the director, the producers, everybody to have success on it, and if it gets an award like an Oscar, I mean, how great would that be?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was wondering if you could spoil this because you're an imaginary friend for a boy or a girl, and whenever you're in the film with the friend, do you say, "Hey, I used to be a Power Ranger," or do you say that?
Yeah, a lot of times in movies I do, they make little mentions about that. This is my office here, and so this is kind of where I have my little setup, and that's the actual suit that I wore in the TV show.
Oh
So
my
it's kind
God,
of like
really?
a thing, but yeah. So no, yeah, it doesn't come up, but yeah, you'd think, right? Imaginary friend, I could have had a kid and just been me.
Exactly. But we should kind of jump a little into Power Rangers because that's what the folks really like you in,
Yep.
and so like because I've heard like there's so many Power Rangers like storylines so I'm kind of a little confused, so I don't really know. I apologize.
No, it's
But
all right.
like I heard that like the audition processes for that they're like usually like were you a martial artist or were you an actor or.
Yeah, it's really a pretty incredible story. I mean, the show's been going for 30 years.
Oh my
I think
gosh.
they're just starting season 31 in London now. So at last I heard it was a $9 billion franchise, which I think puts it at like top 10. I
Yeah,
mean, like it in the world, it's huge.
it's
So
huge. Yeah.
when they started it, it was when they started it, the actors were stuntmen and martial artists and gymnasts. So they had them doing everything. There was not much of a budget. And then as the show grew and became $1 billion franchise, they started to union out later on. So once it became union, they were looking for actors
Uh-huh.
first that looked like they could do the moves. Now I can, but it's amazing. They didn't want me to do anything because if I got hurt, because I was the actor, right? The
Yeah.
stunt guy does all the fighting in the suit. I do all the acting. If I go down, the production goes down. So they wouldn't even let me run up a flight of stairs sometimes.
Really? Oh
Yeah,
my gosh.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. They were
Eh,
very, very careful with us. All the big explosions and big flips. The Alpha Stunts were one of the best stunt teams in the world. They did all the big stuff, and we get to do some fighting when you saw us, but it was little in the beginning. And towards the end of the 40 episode run, they let us start to do a little bit more because we got towards the end of the season, but not much.
Stunt people, man, you gotta like, I have high respect for them because a lot of people don't realize the pain and shit they go through. You know what I mean? Like they actually drive a car and get it crashed. Like,
Let the
it's
car just
crazy.
run into them. They show them
Yeah,
flipping over the car. Yeah,
it's just so crazy, man. So, but yeah, this might be an odd question, but have you ever done stand-up comedy?
never. Scares the
Never.
scares the hell out of me, and I think that's the most. I love going to stand up. I
Uh,
can't imagine doing it, but I love going. I mean, I've seen Bill Burr live. I've seen a lot of people live, and it's a lot of fun to go to from the
uh,
audience.
Oh yeah. So the reason why I asked this because I'm not pulling your chain on this, but like 2 months ago, I did a gig and they were telling me that a Red Ranger just went up, like from a Power Ranger. So I don't know. It's
Really?
obvious, yeah. So it's obviously not you. It's a different Red Ranger. So I was gonna say, hey, I do stand-up comedy too, if it was you.
Oh, I'd be dying to know who that is because there's only 20 of us 21 of us Red Rangers in the world.
Yeah.
So if someone went up, I would have heard that. I think because it's a pretty close knit group, but I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
you know what you get a lot, Keith, is that over 25 years of being a Red Ranger, you'd be shocked at how many people grew up with it or like every. I mean, we've gone places with A-list celebrities that find out you're the Red Ranger, and they're like, "Dude, that you're the Red Ranger? That's." So even though the show is not some huge show like that, it's like everybody knows. But because it's such a big show, I've had a million stories of people like, "Hey, my friend said they dated the Red Ranger, and they find out it was some guy that was an extra." And you're like, "What's his name?" Because I know them all, and they're like, "His name is Ted Johnson." You're like, "Nope, I think you were played."
Yeah, I don't know who it was, but so like I got a process elimination, and you're the first Red Ranger I've ever interviewed, so I know it's not you. But
Yeah,
like, I just thought that was interesting because
yeah.
I remember I was bombing really bad, and I was just like, I think I might want to talk to the Red Ranger and ask for advice.
Where did you go up? Where were you? Where were you on?
It was that particular gig was the Laugh Factory in Hollywood.
Oh, dude, that's a great place to be.
Yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, now I feel like an idiot for telling you this story.
Not at all, dude. Not at all. You're not. It's like I said, you get a lot of stories, so it's pretty cool.
Oh man, but no, this is actually really cool. You played Alexander the Great,
Yeah.
and like how is that? Like that's kind of fascinating, right?
Yeah, they had me come play Alexander the Great. That was for a documentary style show called Alexander the Great: The Art of War, and that really broke into, if I remember correctly, this was years ago, the battle with Persia, the Prince of Persia, and kind of how it's kind of a 300 story where
Yeah,
it was them versus a lot of people, kind of like in the movie 300, and what they did to maximize victory despite having a lot less soldiers, kind of the tactician of Alexander the Great. What was crazy is they had to speak in ancient Greek, which is a dead language.
yeah.
So that was very, very difficult to learn lines that you couldn't piece together.
So
Um,
when you say dead language, you mean like that's a language people don't speak anymore?
it's gone. They had historians there on set to make sure that we were saying things right, but it was
Wow.
very, very hard to learn dialogue of something that you just didn't have any meaning behind it. Like
Yeah.
I could. It's easy for you and I to recite lines of, "Hey, I got in the car and picked up my. I'm going to the, I'm going to the store to pick up my son." Right? We can visualize that. We can see it. It's easy to remember. But when you're saying these lines that make no sense, it was very difficult. But it was a lot of fun. I was paid $200 a day, and it looked amazing.
Yeah.
But that was back in the day. But it was an amazing experience.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
and I
I,
played it twice. I got to play him twice. The second one was on Deadliest Warrior against Attila the Hun, and that was kind of that modern day, if these two epic figures came across each other, and who would win based on strength and weapons and all that stuff, who would win in a battle to the death.
yeah. I think that that's the coolest thing as an actor is to play someone in historic, like even if it was for 2 episodes or for a documentary or whatever, that's still pretty cool
Yeah.
because you could always go the rest of your life like, hey, I played Alexander the Great. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I'm very. I always. That's why I always joke. It was so impressive and so cool, and some of these jobs you make very little, but it has such a great, it has such great meaning in your life long term.
Yeah, definitely, man. And then I was reading that you used to be a baseball player, a baseball guy. So like you could have went pro, but you chose to do acting, right?
Yeah, I don't know who wrote that in there. I never really know how that goes. I was a very good. I was an amazing high school player, a very good college player, and then when I played pro ball briefly,
So you were pro.
yeah, I played independent ball. So
Oh,
again, like you get, in the independent leagues is like the guys that didn't get drafted, but were really successful college players, kind of like you get in there to try and get drafted. And at that point, I was kind of overmatched. I had gone as far as I could. So I don't know how my Wikipedia page says that I decided to hang up the cleats and move to Hollywood. No, no, they said you're done, you're cut.
oh, really? So
Yeah, so I don't know who put that, but I always like it. It makes it look good. But no, I was a very good college player. My college coach is actually, well, he just retired from the San Diego Padres.
oh, nice.
Yeah, so he was the coach of the Padres the past 3 years. So, but no, I once I was released, I literally packed up my bags. I had about $1,500 to my name. I had an old pickup truck with about 270,000 miles, and no air conditioning, no power steering, and I literally drove to LA knowing one person. That's a true story.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know anything about baseball, but I auditioned for this movie called Angels in the Outfield, and
Yeah.
I didn't get it, Jason, because I'm a
Yeah.
terrible actor. But I auditioned for it, and everyone's just playing baseball, and I'm just thinking, I want to play porn or something. You know what I mean? Like like this is so I don't know. You know what I mean?
That's
But
good. There's your kid. I want to play porn. Can we play porn? Like, no, I don't think that you could do that here.
yeah, but
Play porn. That's great.
uh, I wanted to ask you about The Wrong Child because that's a movie, Victoria Fox is, that's like a big deal.
Pivotal. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So like what was that like?
It's funny. The Wrong Child was directed by David Dakota. David was the first director that gave me a chance back in 1997. I did kind of a B style horror film called Totem in Romania,
Yeah.
and he was the first director that gave me that opportunity. Ironically, I was in that movie with Brooke Mueller, who's Charlie Sheen's ex-wife.
Really?
Yeah, me and her were in that movie together.
Whoa.
So he was the first guy that gave me. So when he does a lot of his movies for, I think it's the TMC, the movie channel. He does a lot of those. The Wrong Child, The Wrong This. He'll, if I'm available, he's like, hey, do you want to come? You want to come play for a day and film? So I'll always say yes to David because he gave me my first opportunity. So
Yeah.
didn't film at Vivica because we were just in different scenes, but it allows me to kind of go up to like a paid acting class and work with David again.
Yeah, but like that's like what I'm saying is like you could at least say like, your movie was her like I was in a movie with Bai Lin and I didn't have any scenes with her, but
Yeah,
I tell everyone, "Oh yeah, my co-star was Bai Lin," which
yeah,
is true,
it's
but
true.
I never had a scene with her, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
But no, like that's the thing about horror films, and you kind of know this just with the Comic Cons on the Power Rangers, is like you could go around to these cons, and regardless if you can't find a job acting or whatever, because times are tough right now, you'll always have work because fans would always want to go to these. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they've been absolute, just a gift. I mean, we weren't paid a lot of money when we were on Power Rangers, but the money we're making now, makes it so worth it because we can. I fly to Singapore Friday,
Yeah.
right? I just got back from Peru, and in Orlando. So these conventions are all over the world, and when we go, it's a massive fan base. Um, all the comic books and action figures, which you can see up on my wall there. You
Yeah,
can
yeah.
collect them. They pay big dollars for you to autograph it. So I must have done something right in my previous life because it's been a lot of fun and it's been a great way to kind of bridge the gap in between jobs.
Now, when people like ask you to sign something like a headshot or whatever, do you have like a little funny saying that like best wishes Red Rain or something like that? Or like do you just whatever like how do you how because you're signing so much, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you sign a lot. Unless people have a specific request, I'll just put Time Force exclamation point and then autograph it because
Uh,
that's the season. Little kids, I'll put Dream Big
uh.
on there, and then for all my Resident Evil stuff, because I did Leon Kennedy in the Resident Evil franchise, I'll put Fight On. Dot dot.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
You know, Jason,
So.
not to brag, but every now and then when people ask me for an autograph, I always say, don't do crack. Yeah.
That's always a good lesson for the kids. I mean,
Yeah, yeah. I think it's really funny,
it's
especially
really a
when
bad road to go down,
yeah, especially when a kid asks me for an autograph, I do that, and then like, he's gonna show his parents, and his
Yeah.
parents are gonna be like, and I think it's funny because I'm giving great advice, and his parents are thinking, hey, you probably shouldn't look at Keith Reza as a role model.
You're saving society one kid at a time, Keith. I think that's what's going on.
Oh, definitely, yeah, man. But like, what's when you do these cons? Like, what do you have a favorite city that you like to go to? Because everyone's got that favorite city away from home where like you could just go, get a beer or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've been to 27 countries in the past 8 years now.
Oh wow,
So I don't know about favorite city, but what I love is that every city has its own charm to it. Like you go to Mobile, Alabama, and their really nice restaurant is kind of elevated over the swamp, and there's alligators down there.
oh
Literally,
my God.
sign. It's like don't feed the alligators, and they're down there like 7 feet, but just like we see, seagulls in the water looking over. Like you can look down and see, these crocodiles down there, which seems crazy, but like it's kind of a way of life out there. So when you go to different environments, you kind of get a taste of the cuisine, the food, the charm of that area. So I don't know if there's a favorite city, but I will say I just was in Peru,
Yeah.
maybe 4 months ago, and the food there was really incredible. Everybody says it's the best food in the world, and I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah. We got it all here in Southern California, but the food and the stuff was really, other than the fact they ate guinea pig, which I wasn't going to do,
Right.
because I grew up having those as pets.
Yeah.
But the rest of it, the flavor profiles were really good.
Oh my gosh. You were talking about crocodiles and alligators. I'm actually terrified of crocodiles and alligators. And like whenever I go to Florida, I fucking hate it. Like because it's
Well, they're everywhere,
oh,
right?
they're everywhere. It's
Yeah,
like there's more crocodiles than people.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And
No, they're everywhere. And it's my mom lives on, and they have a second home in Sebastian, Florida, and they have this lake on the back, and they've pulled alligators out of there before, like the HOA, like it's like a
yeah.
big, but I mean, you can see across. It's not that big, but like they're in there, man. And so,
They're pretty fast too. A lot of people don't think they're that fast, but like
oh yeah,
like we couldn't outrun them, even though like we could say we can, we can't.
no,
And that's what's scary about it. You know what I mean? Like, oh my
yeah,
Lord.
they're top. They're real quick. Yeah, they'll lose the quick, but they spring out of that water quick, and yeah, and
Yeah.
that's yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, everybody's afraid of crocodiles and alligators. That's a real thing. I think
Yeah. Yeah.
you know.
I don't think you are because if a crocodile or alligator came up to you, you could just take out your badge and Mighty Morph or whatever, right?
Hey, they say if you can get the mouth closed, that they have no strength to open it. So
Yeah.
if you can just shut the mouth like that, you'll be good.
Oh, right. Well, Jason, I want to respect your time, but I have five more questions. Can I ask these?
Absolutely, buddy.
Okay, cool. So I wanted to ask you if you were an ice cream flavor and you could like name yourself, what kind of ice cream would you be, and what would you call yourself?
Jeez, what a question. I wish I would have gotten that ahead of time. I could have thought of something really creative. What kind of ice cream and what would I
Yeah,
call it?
like a Ben and Jerry's brand, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
like
Um, God, something with red for obvious reasons, you know? Red raspberry. Yeah, I'd have to be something that would be a take on the Power Ranger thing, right?
okay, right.
Something in that, something red, something strawberry based, but I have to think of something a little bit more clever in terms of what name it. Maybe you can help me.
Oh, well, that's why we're talking about this. We're gonna figure this out. So, like, what do you like? Like, what's your sweet tooth like? Are you a do you like fruity sweets, or do you
I
like
like chocolate.
chocolate? Okay, so red and chocolate. So it has to be like a dark red velvet or something, right?
Yeah, yeah, yes, yes.
Yeah. So dark. So it could be uh font raspberry or something, right?
Red,
Or
yeah, Red Ranger, Red Velvet Ranger.
red. Oh yeah, red velvet. Yeah, that's a good one.
It's got the Red Ranger's got to be in there. It just seems like it would resonate. So, yeah, let's go Red Velvet Ranger.
All right, that's the million idea.
I love it.
We're gonna tweet Ben and Jerry's after this, and you know, that's kind of what I want to do. Like when I die, because I asked all my guests this question. I want to have like of all my guests, this is their ice cream flavor.
I'm gonna find. I got to think of a good one for that. So I'll be ready next time. No one's ever asked me a question like that, so I got to think of a good one in terms of what
Oh,
would I name food or dessert wise.
yeah. Well, no, I bet you no one's going to ask you this question, but I'm very curious on your answer.
Yeah,
So, I was watching a documentary about like the wonders of the world, like the pyramids and stuff. And the truth is, like, we have ideas, but the truth is, we have no idea how these things were built. And
yeah,
Jason, I wanted to ask your opinion. How do you think these things were built?
man. I've been hearing a lot about that lately, and there's a podcast or something. I think Joe Rogan had him on. So there's that name again. But the guy talked about that the fact that it's impossible for them to have built this thing, and you almost wonder.
Yeah.
And I'm not an aliens guy. Let me just put that on the record. Although I think there's other stuff out there, but like you almost wonder if civilization, as they find these things, was a lot more advanced and back in the day, and then it got torn down for whatever reason. And
Mhm.
so these are things that were developed when technology was already there. Because yeah, they can't figure the pyramids out. The distance that they had to go with those things would have been impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to read more about that. I've never been to Egypt, and I'd love to see that.
I got a weird theory. Would you like to hear it?
I would love to hear it.
Okay, so Jason, in like 5,000 years from now, right? We come up with this thing called a time machine. All right, you understand? And so we come up with this time machine, and with this time machine, we could travel in the past. You get it? Kind of like Back to the Future, but it's like an actual machine.
Yeah.
So a whole bunch of people go back into the past, and they just build all these miraculous things, right? With their technology, and then
Mhm.
they go back to their future and they look at a crystal ball and they're fucking laughing at us because we don't know how this happened.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I
I
mean?
yeah, I think that's a great idea.
It's a great idea. So I think that's that. I mean, that's the only way it explains it. You know
Yeah,
what I
they're
mean?
messing with us. Someone's laughing. They just popped this thing up and said, "Let's let them spin their wheels on this thing."
Exactly. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Uh, so the third question I wanted to ask, what's a part that you said no to that you like after you saw it, you're like, I wish I didn't say no.
Well, let me give you, if I can, I'm going to spin that question a little bit. The part I didn't get
Okay.
that I wish I had gotten that I read for was Wedding Crashers that Bradley Cooper got.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So that's always a fun story. I mean, he had already established a pretty with Kitchen Confidential. He'd already been kind of building up way ahead of it, but Wedding Crashers, that role was a role that I read for. So that's the one that I always feel like that would have been amazing if I had gotten something like that.
Yeah. Dude, Wedding Crashers is one of my favorite movies, man.
Amazing. But
It-
but Vince Vaughn is so tall and Bradley Cooper's tall. So, obviously I'm 5'10". Vince is like 6'5" or 6'6". So you're gonna have somebody that's kind of in his frame because they were, obviously they were going after each other the whole movie, so
yeah.
But yeah, Wedding Crashers, that role was one that I always go like, oh man, that would have been pretty cool if I had gotten that.
Yeah, because if you would have got that, one, you could have punched Owen Wilson, and two, you could have kissed Rachel McAdams. So like, it's kind of like that's why you want to get those movies. You know what I mean?
I mean, that would have been a double whammy.
That's true. Okay, and then my second to last question is: if you could go to a time machine and talk to a younger version of yourself, knowing everything you know now, what would you tell yourself to keep you inspired?
Well, it kind of goes back to an old friend, right? Like spend your time and your efforts on the people that you love, people that support and love you, and don't waste time with anybody that doesn't. We waste so much time trying to please people that we really could care less about. And then the older you get, the more you realize, like, you got to just do your thing, work hard, be a good person, and let the chips fall where they may. There's so much we can't control.
Yeah.
So I think as I was younger, I was trying to control. I got to do this. I got to do that. It's like, no, you do the best you can, work hard, be a good person, and the chips are going to fall how they may. So maybe letting go and letting the universe take over a bit is what I would tell my younger self, and spend take the time, because your friends are so important when you're young, but you get to be older. There's like three or four of them that you really have that are your good friends. Everybody else is doing their thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you think like that's one of those like sick jokes about life is like because what you just explained is it's kind of narcissistic and manipulation when we're kids, we think, "Oh my God, this girl is wonderful or this boy is wonderful." We want to be everything to be in their life, but then
Yeah,
when you grow older, you're like they're actually kind of dumb. You know what I mean?
yeah. I mean, absolutely, absolutely. And you learn that later, and you try to impress it upon your kids. But my daughters are teenagers, and like their friends are their everything, and you're trying to get time with them, and then like, I'm like, hey guys, someday I'll be gone, and they're like, oh, I don't talk that way, and you're like, no, we gotta do these things once in a while, but it's hard for kids to really get it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I spent my entire middle school and high school like in love with this girl, and like in the moment I thought like, oh, she was the best person. And now fast forward 20 years later, like she's in my DMs and stuff because Jason, I'm not trying to brag, but I'm a celebrity as well.
sure.
And it's like the best feeling because she never gave me the time of the day when I was growing up. So I just leave her on red.
You've never wanted to just go back and just close the loop on that to say you did?
No, because like I mean, I don't mean to brag, but I'm the most famous person in my high school class now. And I'm not saying that's a good thing because I'm just a stand-up comedian, but it's kind of like, you treat me so bad, why would I even respond to you? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that's the proper way to be it. I might have done it differently, but
Yeah.
that's the proper way to do it.
Yeah. But yeah, don't get me wrong. I have ideas of maybe I want to just mind screw her, but then I figured, I'm not like that. I just rather leave her on red.
That's
Ah,
hilarious. That's how that stuff works, man.
yeah, yeah,
It's why
definitely.
it's always good to be a good person. You never know where everyone's going to be down the road.
Definitely. I actually have two more questions. Can I ask these questions?
Of course.
Okay. If you weren't the Red Ranger, what color Ranger would you prefer to be?
Oh, I don't know, man. Black is pretty slimming. So
Yeah.
I guess I would be the Black Ranger. Blue would bring out my eyes, is the joke I always tell. So I'll go with the Black Ranger.
All right. All
Yeah.
right. Cool. And then my last question for you, Jason, is where can the folks at home follow and support you?
Well, so Instagram is Jason Faunt, just my name. That's the main one that I'm on. I do have TikTok. I don't see it as much. My Facebook was recently hacked, and that's a story for another podcast.
Yeah.
But
My Facebook was hacked too.
yeah, once that happens, there's no one to help you. You're done.
I could help you.
Come on.
No, yeah, I figured it out because like I, I was like, I was like suspended. It also hit my Instagram, so like I got it all back, but it was a fight. So I kind of know the steps on how to do it.
Well, it shouldn't be that hard though, because it's pretty crazy. I lost. I mean, I have half the following in Facebook, but this was a long, year ago, and it was just someone who got in, and it was just gone. Next thing you know, they're posting up video games in Arabic, and you're like, what is happening right now?
Yeah.
So, and then I was reaching out, and just nobody even gives you a time. So, I'll have to talk to you about that. So
it's possible. I
so
mean, it's going to take a long time, but it's possible.
Yeah, Instagram is Jason Faunt. That is one that I have someone help me monitor it, but I do see it. I do respond, especially to my subscribers. But that's where I post all my appearances. And also, if I may, I'm playing Batman coming up. So,
oh, really?
Yeah. So, Bat in the Sun, who they have a very, very popular podcast or YouTube channel called Superpower Beatdown. And they get 25, 30 million views on these segments. And it's basically epic pop culture heroes come together, however they do, and they fight to the death, and the fans choose on who would win. So they film alternate endings. So Batman versus Darth Vader, Wolverine versus Predator.
Oh, nice.
Ryu versus the Green Ranger. So there's a bunch of these they've done. And they fight to the death with alternate endings. So the new season's coming, and I'll be Batman versus Shredder.
Whoa, that's going to be a good fight.
In the 1989 Michael Keaton suit.
So, nice.
So that's coming up. That's the next project is Batman.
I always thought Batman had like the hottest villains. You know what I mean? Like if I was Batman, it's like, why would I want to put Catwoman or Poison Ivy to jail? They're, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like, certainly you could find a way to convince them to.
Yeah, you'd be like, be good.
I love it, dude. This is great. You've been a blast.
All right, Jason. Well, have a great day, buddy. And man, let me know whenever you're in the rounds of OC, man. We could play pool and stuff. It'd be cool.
That sounds good, buddy. I appreciate that. Thank you again for your time.
Oh, for sure. All right, guys, that was the episode. Subscribe, rate, review, and we'll see you guys next week on Reza Rifts.